What up gamers, I'm Jason and today on Dice & Dragons, I'm going to be unboxing one of Julie and I's most anticipated games of 2021, Descent: Legends of the Dark. Now this is designed by Cantell and Nathan Hajek. If those names seem familiar to you, they are also the lead designers on Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth, another app-assisted game. So if you don't like using technology in your games, this one may not be for you. This is published by Fantasy Flight Games and is for 1 to 4 players and plays in 3 to 4 hours. Sorry, I almost choked on the 4 there. And it is a game, and I want to steal the tagline here, a co-op board game of dungeon delving adventure. I just really like that tagline. So what will you be doing in Descent: Legends of the Dark? Well, if you happen to have played Descent: Journeys in the Dark, you'll have a little bit of an idea as to what you're doing. You will be going on missions as you start Act 1. That's right, I think it's right here. This is Act 1 of a story. So you'll be delving into dungeons, facing off against monsters, of course, defeating the monsters while trying to complete your objectives while leveling up your characters and gaining new skills, weapons, and of course, abilities as well. I think I've talked enough about the game. Now let's take a look at what's in this giant box. Now we're going to take a look at what's in the box for Descent: Legends of the Dark. As you can see, there's quite a height difference here. It is quite the box. So we'll start with some of the pre-order bonuses that we got. Now, unfortunately, we did not end up receiving one of the pre-order bonuses. The custom dials was not received by a lot of the FLGSs in Canada, so it's unfortunate that we don't have those, but we're able to show off some of the other figures. So here we have the hybrid Centurion figure, who is just looking awesome, and this is the guy that we see on the box. He looks really cool. I love the details with this miniature. This is probably Fantasy Flight Games' most detailed miniatures game that I've seen so far. Makes me not want to get rid of the packaging for this guy. So not quite sure what I'm going to do with him, how I'm going to store him in the long term. But for the moment, he's living in his box. Then we have exclusive weapon art. So these are another one of the pre-order bonuses. There was 3 of them. So this is this pack contains 12 cards for Descent: Legends of the Dark with all new custom artwork. So this lets you replace the starting weapons, and it's just new art for what you're going to be doing. You've got reach on some of these, pierce, the damage. So if you have played a lot of Descent 2E, you can recognize some of the terminology. Crush, I haven't heard before. Slash, pierce, bloodwood bow. Interesting. I'm really looking forward to diving into the game and seeing what's going on and how this game has changed. Now, Julie and I will be finishing up a campaign that we currently have going still. Well, maybe not all the way through, but we're playing 2E right now, but we'll get 3 to the table fairly soon. And we'll take a look at the side. You can't see, but there's some nice art on the side of the box, which we'll show off after we're done here. So we've got the Learn to Play guide, which has a list of components, 3D terrain, plastic figures, help for colorblind players, very cool. So far, everything looks nice and straightforward. Not too much to say. This is really me taking my first peek in the box. And overall, like what I see from the Learn to Play guide, we have a lore guide here, which always excites me. I'm a big fan of lore in video games. Well, video games and board games. I guess this is kind of the hybrid between both, so that slip of the tongue works well. So we just have a nice explanation of the lore of the realm of Terrinoth, which I think is pretty cool, and the barony of Forthyn. I think that's how you pronounce it. It does seem to tie into maybe some of the books that came out recently. Now this is just an ad for Realms of Terrinoth. Lots of great lore for the background there if you're interested. And here we have a guide as to how to assemble all of the 3D terrain. I like to assemble mine and keep it assembled, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. So here we have our miniature trays, and everything fits together rather nicely. I guess these 2 stack on top of each other. I'm going to take these aside and come back to them because I'd like to be able to identify the miniatures, something that I'll have a hard time doing without the cards. So here we then have all the tiles. Oh, and we get a free pack of Descent sleeves, trying to entice us to buy the specific Gamegenic sleeves. Now, I'm not a fan of plastic wrapping board game components. Something I don't like. I believe we might have to assemble this 3D terrain and then unassemble it when storing it, but who knows? Maybe that's what the lower part of the box for us to keep the 3D terrain. So we got some different tokens and clearly terrain pieces. One piece that's already trying to escape, so we'll put that down here. You can see lots of terrain, different tokens. I'm not quite sure what the tokens do. As a big player of 2E, the symbology, well, the symbols aren't familiar to me. They're using different iconography. That's the right word there. Ooh, really liking the way this is going to look on the table, but it's going to have quite a bit of setup time, at least with regards to punching, assembling, getting everything together. So here are the dials, the generic dials. We unfortunately didn't get the 4 custom dials. Here we've got the tree that we'll be putting together, and here's some type of draconic dragon bone altar, which looks really cool. So far, I like everything that I see. With regards to this, looks cool. I'm just going to put this off camera. I still want to be able to get access to these miniatures. So, nice little promo idea for the sleeves. Maybe I'll pick them up, maybe I won't. We'll see if they're needed. Here we've got some potions and gear. We've got custom dice, because what would Descent be without custom dice? Looks like Julie and I have to learn how to share dice again. We've got custom D6s, D8s, and D12s. So, looks like we get surges, misses, hits, things like that. Looks pretty cool. This off to the side. Just make sure these are visible in case we need to go them. And we've got some more cards. We'll put that off to the side. Some 3D pieces, which I'm not quite sure what they're there for. Could be just different identifiers. This looks to be like an brick or something. Other than that, we've got these in 4 colors. Probably for the players, and I'm dropping them, so I'll put them back in the box here. So we've got the green, well, teal, yellow, purple, and orange. And the neat thing about these colors is, from what I remember, they're far more colorblind friendly than the classic colors that are often used in board games. Get rid of that piece of plastic. Didn't notice that it had fallen in there. And let's put that off to the side. We'll take a look at what we've got here, and then we'll dive into the cards. I mean, these are the heroes, so definitely want to take a look at them. So we've got Bren, the Human Avenger. Looks like he's got 3 movement and 10 health. Tells you what die he uses for attacking and defense, and he's got his own stats. Looks like we've still got our fatigue that you can suffer. What you can do with the surge symbols, and that's, I guess it's not on your weapons and stuff like that. And then shift 3, then attack an enemy after this attack, flip this card. So steady defense. So that's pretty cool. So you've got some different abilities that you can use. We got Varix, the dragon hybrid outcast. If you know the lore of Terrinoth, the hybrids were definitely not friends to anyone because of the dragon wars. So a little bit less health. He rolls different dice for attacking and defense, but he can restore people. So during your turn, you and adjacent hero heals 2. That's cool. And then if you flip it over during your attack, you can add 1 surge. Now, how do you flip your card over? I'm not quite sure. It doesn't say here. I'll learn as we play the game. Chance, who is a Hieronix Ranger. Oh, sorry, Hieronix Rogue. So Child of Darkness, before your attack or defense, you must flip a shadow card. And then add 1 of these symbols. For movement 8, rolls the D12s, it looks like. Pretty cool. And then on the back, on the prowl, during your turn, you may shift 1. At the end of your turn, if no enemies are within 3 spaces of you, you may flip this card. So I think you're really going to be flipping cards back and forth, which is pretty cool. Cirrus, the Human Prodigy. After you roll, convert 1 X to 2-star. I'm not to figure out what those are. A little less health. Rolls with the D8. And we're not taking a look at this part. I don't want to spend too much on this really on unboxing. Phoenix Spawn, an enemy in line of sight suffers 2 damage for each fatigue on this card. Then flip the card. Pretty cool. Can do a nice big attack. We have a Dwarf Artificer. During your turn, you can flip 1 card. So the flipping mechanic seems to be something new that you'll be doing a lot. 9 health. Seems to have some good defense. Before an enemy's activation, if it is within 3 spaces of you, can enfeeble it and slow it. That's pretty cool. Then Galadin the Elven Huntsman. And some people are not a big fan of the art. I'm okay with it. I'm used to the classic art. So as I'm talking about the art or just looking at some of these, looks to be like some different side terrain maybe that we'll be doing. Not quite sure. Maybe get sucked in the portals. So the Elf Huntsman, during your turn, you can shift 1. And then during your turn, expose an enemy in line of sight. So it'll be cool to see what it does in these. Like I said, just some different terrain types, maybe portals, things we get sucked in. And that's all the cards. And we took a little bit of an in-depth look at the heroes. Once Julie and I finally get this to the table, we're definitely taking a lot more in-depth look. We'll probably be able to, I'll definitely be able to comment more about it as we'll be getting into the game. All right, so I said we'd show off the box art, and I didn't realize this is like a 2-stage box. So you can see we've got some really cool box art going all the way around. They really worked hard to make this a premium production. We've got the dude on the back, and then this looks like a space where you can either put some expansions, or I'm guessing all of your assembled 3D terrain so it's not knocking around everywhere. Let's get this readjusted just so it's facing the right way. And one neat thing is you can, adjust this around depending on where you want the box art on the side. It's just something that's a little fun that you can do. Now, we're going to look at the cards, but before we get to that, I'm going to change the order up a little bit because I wanted to be able to identify the miniatures, if you remember what I said earlier. So under here, and we'll just move these other guys off camera, we have our heroes. I'm going to try to remember them, and they are a little difficult to get out. So here we've got Galadin. Lots of detail, very cool looking miniature. We've got Cirrus. And memory for quick things is not as as good as it used to be. We've got Varix, our hybrid. We have Bryn, our human avenger. We've got our Hearing's rogue. I'm trying to remember the name, I'm drawing a blank. And then we got our last hero, the Dwarven Artificer. Lots of detail to the miniatures. They feel like they might be hollow. There's not a lot of weight to them. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but overall, I do like the feel of them. Let's see what we got in the cards. We're going to go through these quickly. This unboxing's been going on long enough as it is. So we've got armor. So these are all these different types of armor that you can get here. So light, obviously, like, light, heavy, medium. Consumables, don't want to spoil anything in it. So a lot of these are the same. Maybe we can buy them in stores. Warrior's Breath, smoke bombs. So that's what you got in terms of these cards. So I'm guessing our enemy cards probably going to be in there. And some of these seem to say if they're unique or not, as you can see right here. So we got consumables that are unique. So maybe you can only get one of these, or they're from specific things in the game. We have some trinkets, which have always been pretty fun stuff, and the World of Descent, War Runes, Mana Weave, Ironbound. So we got runes making an appearance. Here we've got all the different pieces of gear. So weapons, we saw some of those earlier with the special art. So you can see we've got different weapons for each of the different classes. And some stuff that maybe cuts across both mirror blades, seer's blades, some cool stuff. some runes. So that's the equipment cards we got. And now it looks like we've got, put these back before I forget. Got our other cards here, which seem to be our class cards. Different things that we can learn based on like Fellowship Shadow, our abilities and background. So minor, rune touched. And then we have the hero card. So we don't actually have any enemy cards. So I'm a little bit at a loss right now as to what to tell you for what enemies are which. It means we're going to find out as we play the game. So let me get these promo items in here, and then let's just start taking a look at the minis and figure out what they are. So these definitely seem to be some of the more difficult to fight minis. These seem to be some type of demons. Lots of detail. They look very cool. So we've got 2 of them. We got 4 of these. They almost look like some type of white or ghoul carrying swords back from the dead. Terrifying looking. And this guy does not want to come out easily. Yes. That is 2 pieces, so don't worry about it. I'm really cautious with my minis. Oh yeah, this is not fun. So this guy's a little stuck. This guy's a little easier. Well, I pulled on this. Actually, this is supposed to be 1 piece, so my mini did get damaged. I'll have to contact FFG about that. Oh, you notice the legs actually separated right here, which is pretty cool. So these seem to be some type of rock golem. And we have these guys here. I'm probably going to figure out a way to rebox these. These seem to be some type of evil, vile necromancer. So, not the kind of thing you want to run into on a dark and stormy night. Let's try to get this thing out. I want to see if they're a little different, if this actually... Yeah, it was part of the mold, so that came out a little bit. It's not a big deal, but as you got to see my mistake, don't pull on it. It didn't damage the stability of the miniature. Nothing that a little dab of glue can't fix, but you might want to reconsider keeping them in these vacuum form things. Let's take a look at the rest of the miniatures. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. This packaging definitely rates rather low with me. Very cool looking mini. Love the look of this. Some type of witch. Here we've got, looks to be some type of orc, or yeah, looks to be some demonic orcs. Here we've got some wolves and beasts. These are, not a fan of this. Here we've got, looks to be a dragonborn, well, dragon hybrids. A bunch of outcasts. See if we can get a different one of these out. We have looking like maybe almost like an undead rogue or some type of rogue here. Here we've got this type of weird, interesting construct. So, pretty cool looking. As I said, there's very fragile. Like I got this guy out and don't quite see how I'm supposed to go back in here. Just have to like push his cloak in. Well, I'm kind of happy I'm doing this unboxing so that you can see my ills. I'm not too irritated about what happened, but definitely not overly happy. And then we're not going to take a look and assemble this guy, but as you saw, here was the same figure that we had earlier, just disassembled, and you can put him together. Now, most people know that the vacuum form stuff is really ideal for shipping. It can be good for storing other minis, but it's not necessarily the best way to do it. Let's see if the tiles can go on top, because that's what I'm going to be punching out next, even though that's not the way everything's shipped. Everything fits. So put everything back except the ad that we have for Realms of Terrinoth. There you have it. We've taken a look at everything that is in the box. Throw out the sleeves. They can go back in here as well. There you have it. That's the Scent Legends of the Dark. Now keep it right here, as I'll be coming back at you with a quick outro. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, don't forget to click that like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Also, down below in the video description, you'll find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you would like to see pictures of Julie and I playing Descent Legends of the Dark, once we get it to the table, there will be tons of them on the feed, as we're going to be covering the entire campaign. You can also see some pictures right now of us playing Descent 2nd Edition down in the video description as well. There is a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link, get 10% off your next purchase, and it's a great way for you to support the channel, as a portion of that purchase is returned to us. And then popping up in front of me are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. Over here will be our most recent release, and over here it will take you back to our review and how to play of Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. I was kind of mixing up Lord of the Rings and Descent there, but it's by the same designer, so you should definitely check out that video if you'd like to see more about that game. And with that being said, don't forget, keep playing games.